And if you found this, you're watching The Signal. This is a Christian movie review. Today's movie, X-Men: Days of Future Past. This is a film by writer, director, producer Bryan Singer. And it's X-film. And most notable, the thing that's going to be most notable to most Christians is you have a film that basically has Nephilim on screen. Now, if you don't know what Nephilim are, you probably need to go back if you want to. You probably need to go to your Bible and get in Genesis 6 and just read the account of the giants or Nephilim, and you'll get an account of how they abused mankind and how they had gotten so bad that the Holy Lord literally wiped out everything. If you can't find everything in the book of Genesis, you probably want to look in the book of Jasher. Stuff is worded a little different. Book of Jasher didn't work for a lot of people, some people. But if you look at the account in the book of Enoch, it's unmistakable. So again, Genesis 6, the book of Jasher, and the book of Enoch. So Nephilim, or the other group of individuals, it's a long story. I'm not going to get into that. But what you're watching when you're watching the X-film is you're watching Nephilim on screen. Okay, the movie is 2 hours. It's 2 hours and 10 minutes long. And to me, it was very reminiscent of a film called Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home. And of course, the characters are different, but it's kind of the same thing. And there's a threat in the future in which people have to go back to the past to correct it. So, and it was interesting how they did it. As far as the film is concerned, it's not a bad film at all. I don't want to give it too much. It's a little bit above average, and it's entertaining. So we'll give it that. And of course, there's many things I would love to spew here because Bryan Singer, the guy who directed and probably in all likelihood produced the film somewhat, he's gotten into a little trouble lately. It turns out that he's what most people would call a gay predator. He is he's 2 allegations against him right now of him basically taking young boys and doing things with them. Listen, this is what's going on with most of Hollywood. It's like people say, well, so and so, this actor's gay, and people don't know it, but this actress, she's gay, and this director over here. Let me tell you about what's going on with most of Hollywood. And when I say most, I mean well over 85% of the people you see on the screen, 85% of the people who work behind the scenes. Most of the people in Hollywood do rituals. They are witches. They're wizards. And one of the things about these witchcraft rituals, they employ things that are homosexual and bisexual. That's just how they get down. And so when you tell me Bryan Singer might be a guy who's been abusing young men, I believe you. If it's real, more things will come out about it. But just know this: you may be watching a film. You may be watching a film that was made by a pedophile. But anyway, and stuff is out on that because at one point he had abused one of these guys, allegedly abused one of these guys, and the guy was 16. The guy was 17, in the age of consent in Hawaii where it took place. 16 is the age of consent. So Bryan Singer probably isn't gonna do any jail time, but something else might be going on. And so that's it on that. If you go to this movie, like most films in Hollywood, you might be supporting a pedophile. But anyway, let's get back to the movie. The movie works. The movie works. I found it enjoyable. The worst things about it, since this is a Christian movie review. The worst things about it is there's violence throughout the film, but like I said, it's nothing I don't think anybody who's over the age of 8 can't handle. Um, your children may get a little scared, but if you're letting them watch most stuff on TV, probably not. I mean, it's fine. There's violence throughout. Here's the shocker. There is, in my opinion, there's 2 counts of nudity in this film. One count is Hugh Jackman, who shows you his backside, and the other account, in my opinion, is Jennifer Lawrence, who wears this really tight blue suit throughout the whole of the film. That's 2 counts of nudity. I think there may be 3 counts of cursing, including an F-bomb in there. There's like 3 counts of cursing. I didn't catch any blasphemy, which is the thing I really hate, and which is the reason why I do the Christian movie review. So as far as that's concerned, I didn't hear anything. So blasphemy wise, there's nothing in here that should knock you out. However, the Nephilim thing, when you're watching the X-Men or any superhero, whether it's Spider-Man or whatever you're watching, most of this stuff, they are Nephilim. They're bringing them back. And they're showing you that they're the heroes. And it's just like what it says in Genesis 6. They're the heroes. They're the mighty men of old. These were the superheroes. I mean, that was the entertainment of the day, probably. These individuals would show up, do these incredible feats, and would just wow the public. I'm not trying to spew hate. I'm just trying to spew truth. And some things, it's just what it is what it is. But there's one thing in the movie that really got me, and it's at the very beginning of the movie. I tell you, they put things in the films a lot of times, things they're going to do in real life. We all know they put spells in the movies. They put spells in the songs. And one of the things that kind of rose my hair on the back of my neck a little bit was, while I was watching X-Men Days of Future Past, there's a scene at the very beginning of the movie where they tell you about this bleak future and things that have happened that are really crazy. And then they have these people walking around with these things on the back of their neck, like connected to their spine, and they can't control themselves. Now, that was very reminiscent of a mark. If you're a Christian, you know anything about that, you know about the mark and how they want to, in the last days, they're going to put a clamp on you. I mean, put a identifying mark. You say, well, I don't believe that. I've heard that there's other theories, and I believe that it's going to be something you do or how you think. Well, that would be with anything. That would be with anything. And like most things in the spirit realm, it might be a little of both. So that's something for you to think about. So when I saw that scene, I got a little weirded out. That's it. I guess I'm gonna end this. A lot of times they tell you what they're gonna do when you watch these movies. If you pay attention and you believe it, they'll tell you what they're gonna do, and you have to be the one to pray that stuff off of you and go, in the name of the Holy Elohim, in the name of His holy righteous Son Yeshua, I will not be going through that. That's going to be taken down. They're not going to do that to me. If you don't pray that, you open yourself up. You have to get whatever curses may be on you off of you. Especially if you're lusting after Hugh Jackman, which I hope no guys are. But, I mean, give me a break. Again, there's violence throughout the film. There's nudity. I count 2 counts of nudity because Jennifer Lawrence's suit is really tight. Not that I'm complaining. I'm a guy. There's 3 counts of cursing. But I'm saying we're not trying to feed our flesh man with this stuff. Well, I used to. But we're not trying to feed our flesh man with this stuff. We want to be entertained. There was no counts of blasphemy in the film, and that was the big deal. Overall, I can't get this out of my mind. Overall, if you want to go see this film, it's up to you. It's not a bad film as far as entertainment wise to go see. Just know that you're watching the feeling on film, and I can't get out of my mind that I might be supporting a pedophile, but that's another story. But as far as that is, this has been the Christian Movie Review, And this has been The Signal.